10, Jack, 6 is the flop, 5 on the turn. Yeah, sorry Super King, it does do it, doesn't it? They're all sporadic, drop and then back, drop and then back. Apologies everybody.
I need to repeat the list. Great, Brad. We cut out apparently. No one heard. Only heard a couple of names. I'll run through them again very quickly this time. So we've lost Cole Shaw, Phil Clark, Lawrence Houghton, Man the Wind, Mosa Hill, Wayne Bloodwell, Tom Hall, Shaw Mills, Gedimus Casivius, Matt Palmer, Michaelis Michael, Paul Siddle, Yanis Lipperis, Seng Long Zhu, Shane Ross, Eunice Braccarat, Christian Dina, Oliver Hutchins, Giaz Lee, Michael Englentine, Alex Golder, Chris Wood, Dave Maudlin, Endrick Getchy and Sam Grafton.
You give Adam Neal a run for his money. You would. You give Adam Neal a run for his money. Siddle, Tom Hall, Grafton and Hendry all gone. Big names, big names, all gone.
Yeah, and I'm going to do it every half hour, guys, rather than letting you know when someone busts. Otherwise, we won't get no other. At this point of the day, we won't get any.
You're right.
Any hands in. I'll just be shouting names every minute. People are just dropping like flies, and will be the case for the first session as always on day 2. That's the way it's been this year. As James opens the button with the King 9 and Steve defends the big. You're hilarious, Jerry. Hilarious. So Queen 8-6, 2 diamond board. James opening button with the King 9. Looks like he's opting to c-bet this one. Goes for around 30% pot at 2.5. Steve makes the call.
King of Hearts on the turn.
Yeah, lovely little turn for us. As James just pinging the King, turning top pair here, and especially versus Steve's big blind defend range, he can have a whole host here. There's 9-7 up and down, 7-5, 9-10 double gutted, diamond draws, 6x, 8x, Queen X. So probably going to be firing this one again on a double flush draw board, trying to get value from some Queen X, some 8x, charge the 9-7 side, 7-5s, 10-9s, diamond draws. And Steve just getting out of the way.
The prize ticker is strolling across the bottom, and I just can't believe the figures. £265,350 first prize. 110,300 for third, and if you get to the final table, you lock up £16,050. You're nearly 9x your money for getting to the final table. 59 places are paid. Min cash is more than double your buying, which is great for the 106 that made day 2 that are still on one bullet.
Yep.
106 are on one buying.
Jerry opening King Jack, been fairly active to start the day, which is perfectly fine with his stack size. And a raise and take for him, another pot shipped towards him. .607 entries, Tower. in the 2K.
607. You did the first time for 600 runners as well?
I think we had 600 runners in at the 500 at the Vic a lot just before the pandemic. I think 2019. It was close to it. I think it was pretty close to it.
I think the mod tells us it's 1-0 to Chelsea. Top of the league.
That was my treble today, if you're going to let me do mine. Chelsea, Liverpool and City.
Oh yeah, you were doing it.
Chelsea, Liverpool, City.
Well, what would that be? Even money?
Yeah. I was going to get one up. I was going to get one up for everyone. No, I'll leave it with you, Tal. I'll leave it in your hands.
We have an interesting treble on its way very shortly. So have a little gamble on Grosvenor Sport. Don't forget tomorrow as well on Grosvenor Sport there will be a book for the day 3. Could be the biggest book there is. Day 3 book will be up before play starts for day 3. Can you predict the winner of the grand final? There'll be a £250 free roll as well on Sunday. That will have closer tickets for that. £25,000 closer on the Monday. Harry says, how many levels are played today? We play 10 levels and 10 levels all the way through with breaks. It's a full 12-hour live stream. Chef Brad says, is that like 200? Is that 107 single entry buy-ins making it through to day 2? Listen, man, there were well over 300 uniques. 107 single entries have made it through to day 2. Queen 4, 5 on the flop. We don't know what Willie's holdings are. He decides to check.
James might fire this one once here, Tal. I'll just try and get this through. We are going to have plenty of Queen X here. Flattening a hijack, Ace Queen. Sometimes it doesn't elect a free bet. King Queen, Queen Jack, and Queen 10 suited. But Willie is going to show some resistance here. Expect Willie to continue firing with his Queen X a lot of the time on the flop here, Tower. So Willie can definitely have like 6s through Jacks in this particular scenario. King on the turn. I shouldn't really have too much King X except maybe some Ace King for Willie. Unless it's King X of Hearts, but probably more inclined to continue that type of hand. So might even see James come in for a double barrel here for that reason. Like Willie is going to be weighted a lot of times. 6 through Jacks, definitely hands he can have. Expect him to continue flush draws. This King is hard for Willie to connect with, and really like this from James. Just good like hand reading here in the situation. Hard for Willie to have a Queen King as well once he check calls flop, unless it's specifically Ace King. And really nice there from James. It's just like very good hand reading. Really like the double barrel there versus that particular opponent. Fletch says, Jay, did you get a chance to speak to Katie regarding the 8-8 flat call? And yeah, she came in last night. She said she made a mistake, and she admitted it. She said, yeah, it was a mistake. I understand it was now, and we move on, and that was it. And that's one thing that's always good in this game, when you can recognise when you've done something incorrectly.
Yeah, she says she bagged a 127, then she went, well, it could have been a lot more.
Yeah. Bluefish, what was the biggest number of buy-ins for an individual guy? I don't
think it was 7.
7.
We think it was 7. We don't know who. We'll not disclose that, but we do think it's 7. It is 7. Katie is still in. 127,000 she started with. Any information regarding bust outs, and if there's any information on the floor regarding big hands, PK will come and tell us. There will be a top 20 chip count every break, and pans of the tables during the day as well, and eliminations from the Grim Reaper sat at the side of it.
Jerry says, can you explain the hand for Katie? Let me rack my brains. We'll finish this hand.
Well,
and
there's only you that could. We know she had pocketed, did you?
Yeah, no, open. We'll just watch this hand. I think I've got it. I think I've got it in my head. Ben shoving the ace-10 over, cut off open from Steve. This is just going to get through. Steve's not going to call this off for 21 big. So, Jerry, under the gun +1, which was actually Dean. Yeah, Tower. I'll love a tea, please, Tower. Dean in seat 5, open +1 with King Queen with the Queen of Diamonds. Katie flatted pocket 8s. Terry called on her direct left, and the big blind come along. So it was 4-way to the flop. Flop come King 8-4, 8-4 of diamonds. The King Queen of Dean opted to check, even though being the pre-flop aggressive 4-way, and Katie fired with her pocket 8s for about third pot. Fold from Terry, fold from the big blind. Dean check called the King Queen. Turn was an offsuit 3. Dean check called once more, bet from Katie with the set of 8s, and then the river coming offsuit 5, and Dean check once more as he would, and Katie checked back the pocket 8s on King 8, 3, 4, 5, 2 diamonds. I think that was the hand, I'm pretty sure. Tim Buckley, sorry, couldn't handle the chicken nuggets dipped in ice cream. Definitely for the selected ones. At least you gave it a go, mate. About 4.4k for a min cash. So going to take the prizes off for a bit, guys. If you do want me to pop them up again, just let us know in the chat. Dean raising in the small blind here, nice and large, 3.5x, what you like to see. And Jeremy will make the call with position with the Jack 10, heads up. And lovely little flop here for Dean. Like, expect 10s plus to always free bet. So our ace-9 here is just smashes this flop, 9-6-4. He's going to come in for a cheeky little check here. And Jeremy's got an okay one to fire here. Start targeting some ace highs that we can fold out. We got 2 overcards and Jack of diamonds wrap around that 9. Got plenty of good turn cards for us with double barrel, and like his decision here to fire with the Jack 10. Nice and small as well, so we can plausibly size up the times. Turn comes Queen 8, maybe sometimes a diamond, but Dean with the ace 9 could potentially check raise this one blind on blind for value, but gonna continue keeping his range wide. Looks a bit under rep with this hand, and there's the Queen of Spades, and let's see if Jeremy does have the double barrel in him. Really can start folding out some ace highs with this double barrel that will cause that size once. And the thing is, we do just have Jack high in this scenario, unlikely to be good at showdown, so maybe going to size up here, 9-10k ish. Jeremy just thinking whether to come in for it. Dean not going to be going anywhere if he does opt to double barrel. I'd love to see it, and looks like he is counting out chips for the double barrel. So it fires for 7k, and I'm pleased to see it, because got to be thinking when we bet small on this flop with the Jack 10, what good turns, good cards for us to double barrel as a bluff, and this Queen is very good. But as I said, Dean just can't go anywhere, especially once checking the flop here after being the original razor pre. So 5 of clubs on the end, and now is there going to be an unload of the clip from Jeremy? We do have the Jack of diamonds in our hand. We prefer Dean to have some missed diamond draws in this spot. Got to be thinking about the hands that check calls from our perspective. It can look like 7s, 8s, maybe some ace-6 suited that decided to raise, some 6-7 suited, these type of holdings. They've got to be thinking, what are we targeting to fold out here as Jeremy with the Jack 10 when we do unload the clip here, blind on blind. I do think Dean will call fairly quickly though, because Dean doesn't look like he's got a 9 or better here once he goes check call from Jeremy's perspective. That's why it's so good to mix in some top pair checks and checks with your strong hands as well as your weak hands, because we can induce stuff, and this is just going to be a call here from Dean. Never folding the way he's played this hand. Perfectly played from Dean Hutchinson there. Got absolute maximum with the ace-9, and a very, very well played pot from both players. Very well played from Jeremy, very well played from Dean. It's just good poker all round, that hand. Yes, Jerry, the fact that she didn't bet river with her set was the mistake in the hand.
Tim Buckley on Facebook.
Yeah, I've already said it.
Unbelievable. I'm glad you didn't, Tim. I'm really glad you didn't. Chicken McNuggets into a McFlurry. Not even humanly possible to even think it's a thing.
It's nice, Tower. It's nice.
Stop it.
No.
Stop it. In fact, I'm going to McDonald's at dinner time.
Have a McFlurry.
No,
get 6 nuggets.
I'm bringing you one.
Okay. Okay. I won't say no. I can't have McDonald's 2 days in a row.
All right, save me then, have you? Esther says 1-0 to Morecambe. There you go. Esther lives in Morecambe. Massive Morecambe fan. Come on, the Morecambe. And Lawrence Abraham on Facebook tells us Chelsea winning 2-1 as well. Good to have you on board, everybody.
Joe Saunders says Willie Tan Crusher on YouTube.
Willie Tan. Have we not had a Willie Tan in the chat box this year?
Yeah,
sure we have.
It's the same person who's Willie Tan, Barney Boatman and Neil Channing in the chat box, I'm sure of it. I've done a bit of detective work and I'm pretty sure they're all the same people.
Adam Appleton, James Bott for 1-2, Adam Appleton, James Bott for 1-2.
Top right hand corner tells us 177 left out of 607. It's like a typo. It's day 2. Amazing figures, amazing numbers. Well done, one and all. Every 20 minutes or so, the Grim Reaper at the side of me will tell me who's bust out, where your money's not going on tomorrow. Did Teddy Sheringham make it through? No. Oh, damn. All right.
Yeah, Bluefish, 7-8 of diamonds, obviously a possibility. Diamond draws, blind on blind there, probably like 400 plus combinations of hands. Very, very hard to run through every single one of them in those situations. Yeah, it's one specific combo Bluefish out of like I said, 400, 500 blind on blind that he's going to have. Like maybe the other three suited combinations of 7, 8 don't go bet.
John Hare says, can we have a last longer bet between YouTube and Facebook for going down? Apologies, John. We know we have hardware issues in London and we don't know why. It's just one of those things. But it is. We do apologise. It's annoying to us as it's annoying to you. It really is. So apologies for that. But it made me chuckle when you wrote it. Come on then, give us some news of the eliminations.
Has it been 30 minutes?
It's been 20. I think 20 is good because you'll end up rapping again.
Rapping. So, last one out. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Jamie Nixon.
Oh no.
Lost Jam Nix. Jamie Nixon, Chris Kadji, Donate De Souza, Nia Fias, Nia Fuitu, Dahi Lau, George Demetrio, David Davis, John Riley, Florian Gumind, Matthew Bonham, Dan Moran. And that is it in the last 20 minutes.
Wow. 100 and, is that 177?
Yep.
Bluefish has abandoned YouTube and gone on to Twitch. Fingers crossed. There's no difference in the pictures in Twitch and YouTube at all. You can, and also you can set the toggle for YouTube, can't you, to make it a lesser picture. But it's normally 720 that's the best way to watch it. Willie Tan got the 10s, Dean's got the 9s, and Jeremy looks down at Ace Queen.
Yeah, and this is cut-off versus bottom versus small blind tower, so this is very interesting. Not going to see Dean fold the 9s here, that's for sure. It's well, he has flatted. And that's going to bring Jeremy in on the button after just deceptively flattening the ace-queen versus the open. Three-way action here, free bet pot, 25k in the middle already.
5, 6, 8, 2 spades.
So Jeremy not going to do another penny in this pot, but no. Dean is going to be losing at least one street of action here. Willie with the overpair to the board, expect him to be continuing this almost always. Might size up a little as well because it is fairly wet and we have gone three-way. So fires for 8k. So actually south of third for Willie, about 30%. Opted for with his continued size, and Dean just never going anywhere here with the pocket 9s, just going to call, take some turns with position, and that's going to make it an easy fold for Jeremy on the button with the ace-queen. Oh, it's a 7 on the turn. Beautiful sight for Dean Hutchinson. Turning the 9 high straight, and Willie here with the 10s. Probably going to choose to check this spot now once a 4-liner to a straight does roll off. And the thing's something to take into account here, Willie should be thinking about. We've opted for a tiny 3-bet size. We've gone sub 3x out of the blinds after an open and a call, which is tiny. So Dean can actually peel very, very wide in these situations once we opt for that very small 3-bet size pre-flop once he has position on us. So he can plausibly have some 9-8 suited, 9-7 suited, 9-10 suited. Pocket 9s are in there obviously as well. 4s might elect to call just south of third once, getting 4-1 on their money. So there are definitely some straights that Dean can have here in this particular situation. Most certainly going to have more straights than us as Willie Tan. So Willie actually opts for a tiny bet here, 7k into 41, so just north of 6th pot from him. And Dean just sets him in with the 9s. And I'm guessing Willie was leading small this size to potentially let the 10s go.
Yeah.
Like Dean's got all the sets here. He's got 5s for 8s, combined 12 combinations. He's got 9s. He's got some 10-9 suited, Jack 9 suited, Queen 9 suited. All these hands that are going to peel that sub 3x sizing out the blinds after an open and a call. So can definitely have a straight in this particular scenario. Dean can definitely have a set, and then we got to ask ourselves as Willie, what are the bluffs? And like the main bluff that Dean would have in this scenario is going to be a hand like ace 10 of spades, like 10 jack of spades, gut shot flush draw, which isn't possible because we've got the 10 of spades in our hand. Like, you expect a lot of his like bare flush draws, maybe just a call getting that price. So with this particular combinations of 10, I think Willie will just take some time and eventually fold this one tower. It's not a good hand to call with. Yes, we have removal to 10-9, but as I said, there's still a whole host of 9x out there in this particular situation.
He will think about every combination, and I think he'll make the right fold.
And I always say, when you are choosing sizings and opting for the size that you choose, you've got to be thinking in these situations, when Willie does lead this turn, downsizes on the turn from his flop size for 7k, we got to already be thinking about what we're doing when Dean does set us in and Willie comes to the correct decision. Good fold from him.
Well done, Willie. Scrolling across the bottom is the enormous, astronomical, amazing prize pool from the grand final. 265. All right. £265,000 up. So 265. Yeah, good fold in the end from Willie Witch, yeah. Still got the game as Willie Chan. Former Grand Final champion Ben Windsor on our table, former GUKPT champion Steve Jelinek on our table, and Dave Doherty.
Oh yeah, 3 GUKPT champions on the feature.
Yeah, absolutely life-changing money, over $250,000 to the winner. Just amazing.
The thing is, Kev, like 10s are the same as aces in that spot. Like 10s and aces are effectively the same hand in that particular scenario. If we're, it's probably actually better to call with 10s if we are ever going to call than it is with aces, just because that's slight removal from 10-9. But they're basically the same hand. Even if he puts Willie on an overpair, all the overpairs are basically the same in that particular scenario, because it's a question of whether we've got a setter or a straight or we haven't.
Anybody wanting to know what's actually left for the festival? Here it is. We have a couple of side events right down at the bottom now. That's where we are, right down at the bottom.
How?
We started up there. No,
there's another page that's been taken.
There.
Yeah, it's not even on the stream deck anymore, the first half of the festival.
The G400 side event. I have no idea how it's going to start at 2 o'clock with any runners, because there's no tables available still. There will be a list for the G400, and it's only a one-day event. 360 plus 40, the G400. And then this final side event, as we crown a champion tomorrow, is a £200. Starts at 2 o'clock. Late reg till 4:15. 15,000 starting stake. To get involved for the final time of 2021. Mick the Mod said, have you got the t-shirt on, Jay?
Yep, I have. You're not seeing it, but it's on. No chance. Tower's seen it, he had to have a little peek this morning. No, I actually like how Willie played the hand, to be honest with you, because a lot of the times if we check, we're going to have to check call still with that hand, and probably have to call bigger than the 6th pot that Willie opted for, and managed to probably lose minimum there after getting outdrawn by the 9. So I actually like the way Willie played the hand, to be honest with you. But the thing is, like, is Willie going to be balanced in that spot? Is he going to have some 9s himself? Will he opt for that size with pocket 9s himself if he ever had 9s in that situation? Is he going to mix in some weaker holdings with his nutted holdings, which he would need to be doing?
Afternoon, Mark. Mark Wright watching on YouTube. Was a really sick festival. Good work. Nice one, Mark. Good to see you again, and well done in the eye roller. Hope to see you again in 2022. The first event is the last weekend of January for the GUKPT. But good to see you back at the tables, Mark, and well done in the HR.
So open from Willie in the hijack, and James just choosing to flat the ace-5 suited. Go either way with this hand versus hijack open. Can incorporate some 3-bet bluffs in with it, but needs to be mixing it up. We'll flat some of the time, 3-bet some of the time, and end up flopping top pair on the ace-10 9 2-diamond board. If Willie checks here, definitely one we can incorporate into check back range here with backdoor nut clubs. It's probably the worst ace-X we're going to have in this situation, and big fan of the check there from James with his ace-5 suited. So queen of hearts on the turn, and if Willie checks once more, this is where we're going to start coming in for our value, as James, once it's been checked over to us twice, try and get called by some potential king-queen, queen-jack that Willie can have in this scenario. Jacks and kings a possibility as well. Maybe some jack 10, king 10 as hands like that. Goes for 6k, so a little bit more than 2/3. Quick fold from Steve, and action on Willie here. Willie raising to 14k. I was not expecting this. I'll probably just fold now, Tower. Yeah, I like that from James. Whatever Willie's got, I don't think he's ever gonna raise bluff that spot. I reckon he's just probably got king jack there, Tower, a lot of the time, and got the nutter butters.
Clarence G said exactly the same. King jack. So the blinds are up for the first time. The blinds are up. I'll give you some more bust outs in about 5 minutes time. See where we're at with the numbers out of the 607 that played the event. 607.
Ace jack for Jeremy, +2. Should be opening this one. And a free bet here from Dave Doherty to 6k over the +2 open from Jeremy, and this should get the job done, Tower. I always say general rule of fun, fine to open like your ace jack, ace 10 off from early position, but a lot of the time facing a free bet, better to just put it in the muck. We're going to get ourselves in a lot of dicey spots, but looks like Jeremy happy to call, making the correct decision on this occasion, because David has come in with a free bet bluff with the king 3 of hearts. Opted for 4x here, David as well, maybe a bit larger size than what you'd usually see. It does flop best on the king jack 6 2-spade board. So both players catching a piece here. And David top pair, one that we can incorporate into check back range with backdoor hearts and just the free kicker like that from him. Keep ourselves a bit under repped. So 4 of diamonds on the turn. And check once more from Jeremy, and now time to get some value as David from our hand, thinking about hands that can call us, maybe 7s through 10s, and then obviously the most obvious candidate, the jack X, the queen jack suited, jack 10 suited, hands that will be peeling our free bet, ace jack suited. Dave may not think ace jack off's going to be in there, especially versus our 4x sizing, but in this scenario it is the hand Jeremy has, and Jeremy just going to have to call here. We got no other play but call. Fold and raising should not be options.
So Jeremy makes a call.
Or is that a jack on the end tower?
It's pinned.
Is that a jack on the end?
It's definitely pinned.
Like, if it's a jack, I think David might check.
Oh, it is. It is as well. Good
Because,
spot,
like,
young man.
What's David going to target here? I guess, like we said, 7s through 10s. That's about it. We lose to all other king X. Obviously, we lose to jack X as well. How often are we getting the call from like pocket 7s, pocket 10s in this spot? Well, David thinks that he is going to get some calls from these hands, and he's gone tiny for that reason. 7k, quarter pot. A little bit more than quarter. Oh, 11k he's gone. He's actually sized up. Thought that was a yellow and 2 whites. 11 into 27. And Dave Doherty opting for just under 40%. Now he's about to get the bad news. I guess, yeah, Dave obviously trying to rep some ace queen, ace 10 here potentially. Maybe just an airball, suited wheel ace, something like that. Trying to get a hero from 7s through 10s, these type of holdings. Obviously we lose to all other king X, but unlikely that Jeremy's going to double check a king. But obviously jack X is the worry in this situation for us, and we're about to get the bad news because Jeremy going to be coming in for the check raise. And now Jeremy's range becomes really condensed after he calls turn and then check raises this river. He's basically repping a jack or better. Can have 6s full, can have 4s full, but a lot of the time it's going to be ace jack, queen jack, jack 10, these type of holdings for value. And as David now with the king 3, he's thinking, why not just check back in this scenario? Now this is going to be a tough spot, because if Jeremy's capable here, is he ever going to turn like a queen 10 suited into a bluff, or maybe some ace X of spades, ever turning those into a bluff?
Big sweat and big ball from David Doherty in C8.
I think he folds, Sour. I just think he folds, and like what might be going through David's head here is specifically like a lot of the time it's going to be Jack X here, and maybe Dave doesn't expect Jeremy to pull the offsuit combinations of the Jack X. So if that's the case, it's going to be Ace Jack of Diamonds, Ace Jack of Hearts, 2 combos. From our perspective with the King of Hearts, there's only 1 combo of King Jack, so King Jack of Diamonds, that's 3 combinations. Then you've got the 2 of Queen Jack and Jack 10. So there's not actually many Jack X here that Jeremy can have. Like probably 10, 11 combos in this situation, maybe some 6s in there as well. So maybe give him the 14 combinations of value hands that he's ever going to have in this situation. But then we need to ask ourselves the questions: what are the bluffs here? What are the good bluffs? Maybe like a Queen 10 of Diamonds up and down on the turn. We got removal to Queen Jack of Diamonds, 10 Jack of Diamonds, these type of hands here. But that's obviously what's racking his brains right now. Like, doesn't expect, especially versus the 4x open size, Jeremy to ever peel any offsuit combinations of the Jack X. So that really does reduce the hands he can have for value in this particular scenario. Yeah, of course. Better to call like King 3 here than King Queen or King 10. Just so Jeremy can plausibly have some more bluffs in this particular scenario, and Dave in a tough spot here. Yeah, people do underbluff rivers generally, but in a 2K where there are some beasts in this field, definitely will be players that will have the bluff raises in them on the river. And Jeremy's played well to start the day. Like the way he's been playing, so I'm guessing he can definitely be capable of mixing it in here. David really thinking about this one long and hard. What's he going to do, guys? Call or fold?
I thought he was going to fold a few minutes ago.
Tower reckons fold.
Yeah.
The thing is, Tower, like I said, there's not much that we lose to, because from David's perspective, it should only be the suited jacks, the Jack 10 suited, the Queen Jack suited, the King Jack suited, and Ace Jack suited. So if that's the case, if he's thinking that, there's not many value hands that Jeremy can actually have in this particular scenario. That's the thing, and David's very intuitive in these spots, and will be running that through his brains. And he's got the King 3, probably one of the best kings he's going to have to call, because we got no removal to spades, no Queen or 10 in our hand, or Ace, which would block some of the bluffs. They don't raise intra-slick, they just call. I think I don't think Jeremy's ever going to raise like King Queen or King 10 here ever, especially once David went 40%. Maybe if he went like 20% on the river, may go small as a raise, but I think against that size, and they're always just going to call. David's still got the Ace King in his range, so I just think King Queen and King 10 are never ever going to raise this spot for value. They're just going to call, especially because Dave, once he checks back flop, he's going to have some Jack X as well. A lot of his check back flop range is going to contain plenty of jacks. Most people saying fold, few saying call. I think the fold outweighs the call.
Yeah. Well, I think. Yeah, he does make the correct fold in the end. He'll hate it for a few minutes, and then he'll get the news that it was the correct decision. Dave Doherty eventually getting out of the way. Jeremy putting the pressure on.
He'll probably get the news in 2 minutes how long that tank was, Tower. Stream's nearly caught up.
Any news, Grim? Any news?
Let's have a look.
Come on.
There will be news, of course there'll be news. So,
Go.
we have lost Antonio Volpe, Michael Caine, Sebastian Young, Paul Grummett, Rick Trigg, Damien Legoff, Arias Sarkachik, Mike Gio, Anton Sowu, Alexia Civides, and that is it since Jamie Nixon. So another pro gone, that is another 4, 11, down to 159.
What?
159.
159, so we've lost 50. You're the man.
So 100 more players and we're in the money. You want to
It's
look
easy.
here like that?
As easy as that.
Suitor King for James in the hijack. Raises to 3.5. And Ben wins up. Shoves. I'm going to get that one through. Mark lets us know it's 2-2.
So, wander around the rooms. No Christmas jumpers today, that was yesterday. Katie Swift still in. Fighting it on for Team Grosvenor. It's in her hand as well, 130,000 by the looks of that. Boz still going on. Jamie O'Connor and Rob Boone, second in Blackpool a few years ago.
There he is, Ali
The
Malou.
legend that is Ali Malou, over 100,000. Sat at the side of Ludo.
Yeah, he's still got his
Ludo,
shoes.
look what I've still got your shoes, son. I'll put them on the table when he's all in.
That's Midi.
Sat at the side of Antonis and Teddy Jordan and Lee French. Some big stacks starting to build around the room. Thanks for the pan around the room from some of the tables. Tough to get round. Tough to get round. Not easy.
So Ben might go with this again here versus this particular opponent. James seems very competent and good. Yeah, I love this from Ben Wins Up. Just this is how you chip up nicely. He hasn't been called once yet, Tao. He's bought in day 2 of his 20k and he just keeps taking these good shove spots for 20, 25 big blinds and just keeps picking up chips, and he's doubled his starting stack just from getting these shoves through. He hasn't had to go to a flop once here, Ben, and he's doubled the 20k that he started with just from these good re-shove spots and keeps taking them, and up to 40k without having to even see a flop today. Doubled his stack.
Kelly and Hendrick still in. Hendrick's out.
Kelly is still in, yes.
Rich Kelly is still in. Sean watching on YouTube. Lawrence Abraham watching on Facebook tells us it's West Ham 2, Chelsea 2. Ooh. West Ham 2, Chelsea 2.
Check. Heads up.
Queen Eye flop. Not a bad flop for Dean.
Yes.
When you get the check mark on the flop, it's not a bad flop.
He should get called here from Jeremy as well, because Jeremy double gutted here with a 10-9 and we're blind on blind, so range is very wide, and Jeremy will be making the call even on this 3 to a flush board. Deuce of hearts on the turn. And once we get called on the flop here as Dean, I don't think I'm going to be getting too tricky. I'm just going to try and go bet, try and get some value from a queen, maybe some 8x with a club in their hand. Fires for 4k, so just north of half. And Jeremy now with the 10-9 off. Probably going to think better of this one, Tower. I think this is just going to be going into the muck a lot of the time here. Like, fine to call once, we can sometimes take off on turns the time that Dean checks to us, but once he fires for just north of half here, I can't see
going in the muck.
Jeremy continuing.
Is Sven McDermott still in?
Yeah. I don't think he made day 2. He might have bought in for day 2, but he bust back end of the day yesterday. So, well, he is going to make the call.
Well,
here.
back to the hand, because we thought the hand was over, and he makes the call. He doesn't want to see an offsuit 7. So completely missed from Jeremy. Dean puts in a bet of round about 9k, is that? $14 pot size. And out the way he gets.
James opening the jacks, raises to 3.5, and Dean on the button with the Queen 9 of hearts. I'm probably going to just call here, Tower, take a flop with position. May incorporate some free bets in versus MP and LP, but versus +1, just happy to flat and take some flops, and Jeremy just going to flat the ace queen in the small. Six, 3, a deuce. 2 club board, a little bit of action here. James with the overpair with the jack of clubs, and Jeremy does have the 3rd nut flush draw. This one checks through, like James incorporating in a check here with the jacks with the jack of clubs. And now once it's checked through on the flop, this is where we want to start firing. Yes, Matt Davenport is in the field somewhere. TND.
He is indeed. A lot of clubs in this deck. Five of hearts on the river. The check goes for James. Jeremy missing the flush draw.
I'll probably fire here as James for value, Tower. Like, only worry really is going to be 5s. Like, he will have the deuces, 3s and 6s for sure here, Jeremy. But maybe might start trying to get the better lead himself and raising them on the turn. But opts to check back, which is fine as well. Maybe a bit too thin to fire, but we'll have 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, flattening the small. But then a lot of his hands will be like some ace jack, ace 10 with the ace of clubs, some king queen, king jack with a club in it, and those type of holdings. Right, another pot going James's way.
So information players in the grand final at the end of this level, we will be having
See what Rob said on Twitter.
So we're down to 159 from the 218 that started the day. Afternoon to Border. Border Collie, how are we doing?
So Dean opening the cut-off with the Jack-6 suited, and instant punishment from Jeremy on the button. And Dean just going to have to get out of the way. And afternoon Fletch, the pot washer is still grinding, merchandise still available behind the bar. The bottle snatcher line is discontinued due to conflict of interest. How you doing, Fletch? Chris has got chunks, I think. He's got like 130, 140.
Awesome.
£1 million prize pool. This is what they are playing for.
Amazing. Absolute numbers, just scenes. Maze balls.
Predictions for final table and predictions for who's going to win, guys. Go at this stage. 160 left. You do well to pick the winner, even to find a table list from here.
Yeah, we will have a book tomorrow of the final day. If you fancy a little flutter tomorrow.
Jeremy raising the ace jack to 3.5. And David here with the king jack, just going to call. Dave playing 22 bigs. Jeremy in the cut-off, checking behind with the ace-jack on this 10-5 deuce board. Just waiting for the turn.
5 of diamonds.
Everyone on this table seems to be playing very well. Border Collie, like this seems like a fairly tough table. Dave obviously on it. Jeremy seems to play very well. Dean's really impressed me the last couple of days. Ben's won 2 grand finals. Dan Sampson's no mug, and Steve Jelinek's already won a GUKPT this year, and James as well should give a mention in seat 9. He's playing very well himself. So It's a 2K, it's what you're going to expect. Especially on a day 2, it might be a bit different. Early stages, middle stages of day 1. Very funny, Mick the Mod.
Afternoon, Mick.
Anyone sticking out.
Great prize pool scrolling along the bottom. Amazing
Players in the grand
£1,000,000
final, to finish your hand,
prize pool
and
plus.
each race for 182, so one player on each table gets to be
Amazing.
29 break in the grand final.
So a 20-minute break in half an hour's time. Give you updates of eliminations shortly.
Players that are registered for this afternoon, one day G400. You'll see it now on screen. Players, you're welcome to start taking your seats. Starting with a few minutes delay. That's all players that are registered. You'll see it now on screen, and you're welcome to take your seats.
Ben opens the ace 10, raises to 3.5, and Dave here with the same hand on the button. Dave playing the same 20 big blinds here at 1500. 20 big blinds for Dave Doherty. Just checking the blind level and chooses to just let this one go.
See you tomorrow for loss.
See you tomorrow, Steve.
Steve Cleary was not needed as a dealer today. He was preparing his deck and then he got stood down, substituted into water fetcher. Are you running home or are you catching the tube?
I'll go home and go for a run when I get home. I only do a quick 5K.
Quick 5k, just a quick 5k.
What's that about? Half an hour?
Half an hour? What am I walking?
What?
22 minutes.
Really?
Okay. 22 minutes trotting.
22 minutes. Which at half time and during the match, get back for the second half. Nice one, Steve, all the best. Steve Cleary, been here 26 years. 26, man and boy. Guy's a legend.
So it's bust out time. Who have we lost in the field?
Go on then.
Ahmad Abdel, Owen O'Dear, Panikos Elenas, Neil McCulloch, Andy Hume, Stato, David Barnes and Antonio Volpe, Michael Kane, Sebastian Young, and I think that's whereabouts we were at, which means we are down to 151.
151. I'll run down the room into it. I'll run down the room into the break. 22 minutes for 5k. Is that standard? Is Teddy Sheringham still in, says Dom Johnson. We're not sure. He bust out last night, but we're not sure if he re-entered for day 2. We'll find out on our first break.
Prizepool's coming across the bottom entrant on Twitch. First place 265k, second 183, and third 110k. So 3 6-figure payouts.
Yep, there is over £1 million in the prize pool for the first time ever on a GUKPT leg anywhere in the country. Afternoon, Chris. Chris Maney watching on YouTube. We are good.
How are we doing, Chris? Good afternoon.
We are good.
Either way, got the I like it.
607 runners, we're down to 151. Started today with 218.
Dave opening hijack, raises to 3k, and Lofty here opts for bigger than 4x sizing with his free bet. Just snap fold from Dave.
Motion for players in our G400. We apologise for human delay. Players are registered for 30 seconds and starting in 30 seconds. So, information, it is a 15,000 starting slot for 4 30-minute levels for the late entry and
starting.
period, and then a 25-minute break.
We better have a look.
We have done drop a little bit empty, but we'll begin in seat number 2.
I reckon about 23.
About 23. You reckon about 23, dear? Let's have a look. Oh, there's 23. Amazing. Amazing techers. 23 starting the G400, and that will be just because of space.
Lofty here, nice one to open. Once folded to us in the cut-off. Makes it 3.5. And Ben here in the small blind. What are we thinking about? Into the muck. And Dan Sampson. So Dan working with 20 bigs here, just sub tower. So there will be some hands that he can shove versus cut off open. We can't see his holding, but just chooses to get out of the way. GUKPT Grosvenor UK Poker Tour.
Intrin. Where are we from, Intrin? Where are you watching on Twitch? If you just tuned in for the first time, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube and Twitch is where you can watch the live stream. And follow us on Twitter as well. There are the handles for myself and Jay. In Australia. Amazing. Amazing. My niece lives in Darwin. I've been 3 times. Love it. Been there 11 years. Went backpacking, never came back. There are 3 mates. Well, good morning to Australia. Ah, in Queensland, yeah. Enjoy Queensland, because it's top end of the country. The Border Collie's in Wales. Yeah, it's very tropical in Darwin. It's about 30 degrees every day forever. Coming into the wet season now, though, in Darwin. That'll be that. It'll be coming into the wet season in Darwin. It's a wonderful place.
Dave opening +1 to 3k. Lofty here with the ace queen. Working with 30 big blinds. Dave's effective stacks just over 20. So just chooses to call. Probably thinking if we 3-bet we're going to have to call off with the ace queen, and David's probably never going to be continuing with ace jack or worse, so just happy to flat this one with position on the opener, and Dan with the king jack on the button. Makes a good discipline laydown after EP open, MP call. But Jeremy expects him to defend this, getting this price closing the action.
Ace 7 flop.
Yeah, don't know what Dave Doherty's got here, Tower, but Lofty absolutely smashes this one. Like, Dave can continue here like 3k. We can go like close to quarter pot in these situations on these board if we are going to opt to continue. It looks like he's gone even smaller than that, 2k. So just sub 20%. And Lofty here just wants to be calling with the ace queen. No need to raise this one. We want to keep Dave's hands in that we got drawing dead, like the king queen, king jack suited that he's going to open early position. The 8s through kings are only going to have 8% equity versus our hand. So just want to keep the bluffs in of Dave, 7 on the turn. So I expect Dave to be checking this almost always. Tower, once this 7 pairs, can still have some ace-x himself, but like Lofty's range, once he heels flop on this ace a7 rainbow, it's going to be like 8s, 9s, 10s, jacks, and then ace-x himself. So whatever David's got, understand the check. And this queen on the river, if Dave's got an ace here, this is just so unfortunate because he's going to get stacked. But if he checks, he's more likely to just have maybe a king queen that's caught some showdown, jacks, 10s, 9s, 8s, all hands that Dave will have here, but he's never paying off a river bet no matter what the size in tower.
No, snap folds as well.
Don't know what he had, but
snap folds.
Yeah, he did, Dennis. He busted early stages of the day today.
Who was that?
Tom Hall.
Tom Hall.
Pretty sure he did. I'll just double check for you, but I'm pretty sure he's won the first bust outs today. Yeah, Tom Hall busted at 20 past 12 live.
Prize pool over $1 million, and I think it's 1,100,000.
Well, just under, I think. I think it's just like 1.09 million.
Wow! Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
5s for David under the gun, just chooses to fold this off of 17 bigs. Ben wins up. Chipped up silently, first session of the day. I don't even think we've seen Ben go to a flop, and he's doubled his stack. Going to get some resistance from Willie Tan in the big blind. Going to be sweating this hand with Willie because Ben's card's not showing, unfortunately. We're going to try and get that rectified after the break, guys. We're going to re-register some new decks for the featured table after this session, so hopefully we'll be able to see all whole cards.
Ace, jack, jack, flop, wheels, check, check.
Yeah, Ben can still have a whole host of ace-x here, tower. Once he checks back this board, like ace-x becomes a very good check simply because we're either well ahead with the ace or we're very far behind a jack-x hand. We can also check back for a bit of deception, induce some bluffs from opponents on later streets. And Ben checks back once more. I expect Ben to have at least 2 pair here, like could have a pocket pair himself or ace-x. Jack-x probably not because he fires that on turn. But the thing we got to think about, like if Ben's open like a 10-8 suited or a 10-9 suited type hand, he's probably going to continue on this board, so he's going to have some sort of showdown. And Willie's been fired for 4k and Ben snaps it off. You know, he's willing to show first.
Well, Ben's absolutely laughing his head off. $10-8 offsuit. Looks like, is it a jack or ace queen?
Yeah, so
for Ben.
Lovely double check there from Ben, inducing the bluff from Willie on the river. But like I said, Ben just understanding why it's so good to check back some ace-x in those situations. Good start to the day from him. After the day 2 buy-in for 20k, he's up to 50 odd. So this is what we got coming up, 2022 GUKPT schedule. There it is. Dates are set, so you can get your hotels, but we haven't got the full schedules out for the festivals, but it will be those dates. So get your hotels booked, take some time off work. But plenty coming up. We'll go to the 25.
You fancy going out this year?
There we go.
Oh yes. The 25-25 schedule, 4 events.